up? It's your girl Free.
And we are sitting here with the Waterproof MC, one of the greatest of all time, Ras Kass.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you.
I was re-listening to your catalog again, and I don't think there's any doubt of that. Your first song, Remain Anonymous, was your second song, was a B-side, right? Remain Anonymous.
Yeah,
and
Remain Anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because when did that come out? Like 91 or 92 or something?
You're dating me.
It was before
It came out
the
in
album.
2020. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Nah, honestly, I think 93-ish, maybe.
Yeah, but you were like a teenager when you made that. You were,
yeah,
you were
it was
young.
like
Yeah,
16-ish, 15-ish.
Yeah. That's an incredible. Yeah, and it was the Source. Hip-Hop Quotable.
My Hip-Hop Quotable, man. My first one. Yeah.
That's crazy for your first song as a teenager.
Man, a dream, MC's dream is we wanted to get a Hip-Hop Quotable. We wanted, the dopest Quotable. So I was super honored.
Well, and the interesting thing is, like, it feels like your style kind of came out of nowhere, especially for LA. Like, obviously, there's East Coast rappers, but there wasn't like an LA. Maybe like, were you at? Did you ever go to the Good Life when you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, I always say this. Right now, a bear is shitting in the woods. You can bleep that out. So just because you don't know that it exists doesn't mean it does not exist. So there are many Loch Ness monsters, and there were before me. Hiero had already existed. Freestyle Fellowship, I'd be remiss.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to peace.
Yeah.
My older friends were Pharcyde. There's a lot of ill MCs.
Yeah.
It's just that we weren't getting showcased.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I always think it's interesting too how like the interplay between like we had Mike and Nine on the show not that long ago.
Nice. I just saw him recently.
Yeah. Also, like, he's so humble. I was like one of the greatest ever, and he was like, well, like, he's like, great is a word I only use for
everybody else.
No,
so he's super
God,
humble. I just saw him with KRS-One last weekend, and them just bouncing off each other. It was a KRS-One show in Venice at the Venice West, and that was just awesome to see that energy. And both of them are incredible, freestylers, like literally, topical, addressing the crowd. They were mic checking and put on a show for like 10 minutes. I was just like, this is cool.
Oh, that's cool. Wasn't KRS-One was one of your first like favorite rappers? Right?
KRS-One is probably my favorite rapper. Not probably. KRS-One is my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
He is he did something that was never done in music before. That would be done after, including myself, is people talk about the gamut of emotions: love, betrayal, sadness, whatever. Nobody had ever prior to him ever actually did factual historical dates ever. So I don't care if you talk about gospel, whatever. People could talk. You could talk religion. You could talk love. You could talk shooting people, whatever. Strip club. Start giving me dates. The first strip club opened in 1922 with the, you know what I'm saying? He started doing that.
Yeah.
And so that broke my brain because I'm a history lover. And so that influenced so much of me. And then the other part is, criminal-minded. KRS-One was always able to be extremely street. His truth, he was homeless, he did this. So he's extremely street, but extremely intellectual. They usually make them mutually exclusive in our music. It's like, I'm the real street dude, I'm an idiot, but I can tell you how to cook cocaine. Or it's, I'm super positive, I do nothing wrong, I poop halos, I only eat, artisan water.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, the human experience is a lot more, like, you do other stuff. So people become these one-dimensional characters, and I love the fact that he embraced a lot of his fallibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I feel like rap kind of, like, took on the characteristics of pro wrestling, but I feel like all aspects of modern American life kind of took on the aspects of politics, took on the element of professional wrestling. Like,
Interesting. I never thought about it like that. But
took on, you know what I mean? The podcast medium is nothing but, like, it's
these caricatures of people, the right, the left,
So when you were first, like, coming out, was there pressure on you to kind of conform?
I think anybody, first of all, my friends, I grew up in Watts, lived in Carson, so I always represent both, both parts of, my childhood. So my friends said I was whack, because they kept saying, you use those big words. And I was like, but I talk with these big words.
Yeah.
So when we're out throwing dirt rocks and all the other grimy stuff, I'm saying the same words.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now that I'm putting them in a rap, why is that so complicated since we're having these conversations, So I think the first part of that was always my friend saying, like, it sound kind of good, but I don't understand what you're talking about at this point. And why don't you just say it like so-and-so said it?
Yeah. I mean,
too many syllables is too smart. Then they like the easier version. I walked down the street, pulled out the gun. Then I had to run. Then I went to the club, threw the money up. Then the girls was up and they was shaking their butt. Okay, great. All right. Tell me that story and make it interesting.
Right.
As opposed to sounding like everybody else telling that same story. So once I got past that, which really was because of Battle Cat and Wino, who discovered us at like 14. I was 14, acting 16. They cultivated and allowed me to develop myself. And then it was the industry. Then you go get a record deal. And then then they start telling you what they think you should do. And that used to be my, not an argument, but that would be the new uphill battle, which was, well, so-and-so does that, so why don't you do it? I'm like, but then you should have cloned so-and-so and signed so-and-so.
Yeah.
You signed me.
Yeah.
I remember I told the owner of our company, Brian Turner, at the time my label mates were Black Moon, Snoop Dogg,
Cube,
Ice
right?
Cube, Jay-Z. Reasonable Doubt was a Priority Records album. And more people, Master P, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people. I remember that was one of the conversations, and I said, like, with all due respect, you signed me doing a 7-minute history of racism. Like, if you think I'm gonna put on a khaki suit and crip walk, I forgot how to crip walk in Watts because I didn't step in. That's a decision you make it between 10 and 17. I forgot how to do that because I chose not to.
Yeah.
But if you think I would do it just to be on a video to sell some records, pardon my French, I said, you got the wrong nigger here. Don't sign me to try to turn me into something I'm not. Now, some people did it and they made a lot of money. But for me, I just, I got to go home. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to have to deal with the repercussions. There's been people that have died. Some people that was real active in it and some people that wasn't. But that's a lot of collateral damage to be putting out in the universe, and you informing little boys and girls about something that maybe it's a part of our cultural heritage of being, Cali kids.
Right.
But I don't want to make that the big part of the show.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, definitely got it from both sides, from my own peers, and then from the company, from my industry.
Yeah, I often think back about kind of the rappers that were kind of doing what you're doing with and Fellowship and you, or really kind of the two LA, and obviously up in the Bay, Saphir, who close to R.I.P. One of the true greats, and I feel like on the West Coast, they didn't necessarily get the push of the East Coast. It was if you were in New York, you were kind of allowed to do more of the super hyper complex kind of technical rhymes. Didn't maybe necessarily need a hook, but on the West Coast, it was a very different paradigm.
Absolutely. I always say that New York was given the opportunity to have variety, and because we came out the box with something that became extremely successful, gangster rap, the people who cut checks was like, that's easy. We should sell that. And so, I understand business. It's not me doing a blame game, but it's just business is not in the business of selling art. Business is in the business of making money.
Right.
So they're not trying to give you the light bulb that lasts forever, which does exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They want you to keep buying light bulbs.
Yeah.
And why should I redesign it or try to figure out how to market it when this is easier?
Yeah.
If I put you in this $10 outfit, this khaki suit, and let you skip, do your gangster dances, whether it's Blood or Crip or even Southsiders, it's fascinating. You got to think about it. If I'm in Germany or if I'm in, whatever, if I'm in Idaho or if I'm in Little Rock or wherever, and you see these dudes with these outfits and boys in the hood, and we tell these stories, and they real stories. They're not necessarily done by the person who's rapping it, but that this is really what we grow up in. It's fascinating, and I'd want to go watch that too if I was born in England. I'd be like, what is that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like they did it because they knew you grew up in Watts? Or do you feel like they did it because you were just black in general? Do you feel like that was a medium they wanted for all black people, or was it just for you because you grew up in the area? That was
No, I don't think it's because I grew up in Watts. I just think it was an easy sell for people in Beverly Hills who are execs that like hockey, that don't necessarily really listen to this music,
right.
to say that's easier to sell, and I like that one. That's cool. So they got a preference too, and it may just be their lack of sophistication about the culture.
Right.
I wouldn't know who to sign if I was a hockey scout. That's why I shouldn't be a hockey scout.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They weren't.
Well, yeah.
But they cut the check. So if I got the person to cut the check, I might not get the best hockey player. I'll get the hockey player I like.
Right.
And so I think what they were doing was trying to find who had talent, who was creating a buzz. That's the same thing that happens now. But you can't put, sometimes people try to, round a square.
Mm-hmm.
You can't round a square. The square is the square. I mean,
Exactly.
you can, but you're shaving stuff off. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to, fit me into this box that wasn't my box in the first place.
Right. How did you stir away from it? Like from being from a gang? If it was something that it seems like maybe a lot of your friends were partaking in, or some of your friends.
There's usually two reasons why people. Look, I shouldn't even act like I can speak for all people that join gangs, but this is my observation. I've watched the rapper say, "Yeah, where I'm from, you ain't got no choice." He's a liar. I won't mention who he is, but he's a liar, and he wasn't even really a gang member. He's a transformer.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking to.
Do I know? Shit, should I know?
Anyway, so here's the thing about why most people join a gang. There's three. Here's the first one. Grandfathered in. Your dad was a gang member, or your brother was a gang member. You're socialized that way. And sometimes bad things happen. Your brother gets shot, your cousin gets shot, you mad. Where you gonna get some guns from, and who you gonna get a team to ride with you? That's why some people step in.
Mm-hmm.
Other one is mom's working hard. I needs to get some money. Pops, maybe he hurt. It's not always deadbeat daddy syndrome. Sometimes it's just we need some money, and I got to get off the porch and figure something out. Where I'm gonna get some money from? Who gonna front me? Whether it's dope, weed, whatever. I gotta get some money. They gonna give me a dope sack and send me on a corner and say, you can make some money. Cut me back. Give me what you owe me. So that's a financial one. Mm-hmm. One is grandfathered in, revenge, retaliation, and get back. The next one is financial, and the last one is, and I watched a lot of my friends that stepped in for the other reason. It's popular. Girls like that nigga that's good, that hood fame. Girls like that nigga with the tattoo on his neck. You know what I'm saying? They like the one bust his gun like he's a real one. He's a soldier. He's a thug, as Pac, said it. You know what I'm saying? Which the lowest common denominator of a Pan-African soldier is the thug, the front line in the streets. Mm-hmm. Thug nigga, gangster nigga. So the other part is just hood fame. I want to be up. I want to be popping. Them niggas out, when they pull up, everybody stop. I want to be with them because they popping. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was never, but you never forced. I remember when my homies asked me to step in, and I mean ask. They don't force you, because don't nobody want somebody that ain't with it.
Right.
You know what I'm
runs
saying?
the risk of
right, because you're gonna end up telling and all of whatever. So I remember when my older homie said, and I didn't call me Raz back then, Baby John. They were like, Baby John, you gonna see from the hood? I probably did something dumb with my friends, and we doing some wild stuff. And they're like, when you gonna see from the hood? And I said the dumbest thing ever. And I said, I'm down. That's how dumb I was. I was like 12, 11. I was like, yeah, how much y'all paying per hour? And then they laughed at me. And then they never asked me again.
Oh, so you thought it was an occupation?
Yeah, I thought it was a job, like room for growth.
Right.
And so they laughed at me and was just like, forget it, Baby John. Just keep doing whatever you're doing. And so You know, it wasn't a whole, they surrounded me and forced me. And then it was like, do what you doing. You want to do it with us? And I'm like, yeah, if you give me money every hour.
Yeah.
That's what I thought jobs were. I mean, I don't know no better.
And you mentioned Pac, and you knew him like really early, right? Like like 92, 93.
He's
like,
older than me. He's legendary. By the time I'm becoming myself and running the streets with my friends, Pac has, he's with Thug Life, which I was kind of a fixture because a lot of my friends running around, and Battle Cat had already brought us under his wing, so I knew the Crenshaw area.
Yeah.
I'm outside too, so a lot of them, even to this day, sometimes, a lot of them always thought I was from their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like we from '60s. My cousin Blue, the BMF guy, Meech. So me and Blue running around together. They kind of thought we was from '60s. Mm-hmm. I'm not. It's just I got a gang of homies over here, and so Pac was Thug Life, which is rated R, and all of them are homies. So I kind of knew Pac through that side, and then on the music side, one of the nicest people when I first even had like my first opportunity, like buzzing, Remain Anonymous era, Won't Catch Me Running era. I went to I forgot what it was called now, but they used to have like a music convention in Frisco.
It was the Gavin, right?
The Gavin.
Yeah.
So I went to the Gavin, and this legendary dude walked up and was super nice. It's like, I like your song, you dope. And I looked, and it was Money B, and I was just like freaking out, first of all. Like,
Digital Underground, people forget how good the Digital Underground, like Shock G are genius, I think.
Genius.
Yeah.
I'm Shock G, the one who put the satin on your panties.
Come on.
I loved that.
He made all those beats, though. He was like a really crazy piano player.
Bro,
yeah.
Sick. So Tupac, because you remember, it's the same song.
Yeah.
So that's what. So I had a relationship, not no bestie, nothing like that. But I knew Pac. I had met Pac through Mun, and then I also knew Pac through Rated R, through Thug Life and them. So it was always cool, man. And then Saphir, rest in peace. Saphir and Pac were roommates.
That's crazy.
So just imagine the dark-skinned pretty boy and then the light-skinned pretty boy. So they always had something going on where they had a friendly competition.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew bro, from both sides of that coin.
I love, you've told this before, but I might want to ask you to retell it. Your first New York show. Wasn't it, he was there, right? Like, or Biggie was there, but he wasn't there?
No. That's not Pac. So this, my first New York show was the Lyricist Lounge, and Pac was dead already. Pac got killed. Okay. But Biggie wasn't dead yet.
Okay.
And I had to perform, and I might have had my cousin with me. But basically it's just us, me and my cousin, but I got my friends with me. Like Sean Price, like the whole Duck Down, like Smith & Wesson and all of them.
Yeah, because you were down with those guys.
Label mates and friends. We same age bracket. We run around doing
they're on the new single.
Exactly. The same fuckery. We into the same bullshit. Yeah. So, but on stage it's just me and maybe my cousin, and I was super nervous, because it's like the Mecca basically. You know what I'm saying? Like if I come here and fumble, I kind of feel like I'm repping the West, and I'm basically the first person, as far as the hip hop kids, maybe not superstar people, whoever those people would be on the West at the time. But I got to do this show, and I came out and somebody said, "Where Tupac at?" Like heckled me, like, "Where Tupac at?" And he's just passed, like a couple of weeks or something. And so I had to like go into a spiel. I'm like, they jump up on the stage. It's over. It's a whole bunch of goons, whatever. It's 500 New Yorkers and 2 West Coast dudes. But dude, if I don't say nothing, I'm really going out. So I gotta say something. And so I addressed it. I think I said, first of all, that shit ain't funny. That's somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? So to make a joke of it, that shit ain't funny. And I rep the West. Something, just made it clear, like, I'm from the West, bro. Ain't come here disrespected, but I don't fuck with that type of shit. So whatever it is, you know what I mean? I'm going to be here. I'm going to be on the stage. Fuck that shit you talking about, though. So
Yeah.
let's keep going. Then we rocked, and you know, my niggas got up there with me. You know what I'm saying? Smith and Wesson, and the crowd was with me, and hopefully that person felt stupid because that was corny.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That was some corny shit.
So then, obviously, you moved to Carson when you were like a teenager. But like, how much did you know like the Watts Prophets? Were you like very familiar with the kind of the heritage of like Watts and like no?
I knew the Watchtowers.
Yeah.
My family's not very musical. Honestly, my pop's just not really a music guy like that. My mom is a Creole lady from Louisiana, and my mama was because she passed this year. My mom's more. My mom couldn't sing worth shit, but she liked to sing like Jesus songs, but like white people Jesus songs, like
Where in Louisiana was she from?
Mansura, which is you'd have to Google it.
It's like a country
we're
town.
closer
Yeah.
to Baton Rouge.
Okay, no, I spent a lot of time
We
in
are
Baton Rouge.
really from like real Louisiana niggas. We
Yeah.
a town niggas.
Completely
like,
different
we're-
world. Yeah.
Yeah, we are not.
Yeah.
We bubble fucks.
Yeah,
like really in there, like the Baptiste and the Lavalays, like everybody related.
Yeah.
The white people, we be going over there like all y'all niggas is related over here, bro.
Right.
We drove through the town in 7 minutes. Like, oh God.
That's crazy.
Went with my sisters to spray my mama's ashes. But no. So I didn't listen to music really like that. So hip hop helped me discover music. That was the point I was getting at.
And then I was gonna, it's interesting to me. Was your father LAPD?
Yeah.
And that it must have been a crazy time because he was on the force right after the Watts riots, I assume. So like in Daryl Gates era.
I don't know. I never asked him when he got there because he's from Arkansas. She's from Louisiana. They met and then had me and my little sister. So I don't know what year he got there.
Yeah, but like it must have been. I mean, it was obviously Daryl Gates.
Some there
era.
close.
Yeah.
Sometime around then, he there. But he was not a Marine. Was he a Marine? Navy. He's a Navy dude. I've been fucking that up for a long time. I kept calling him a Marine. He was a Navy dude.
Yeah.
And then he came here, LAPD stuff. He just was very, what I would say, like more American, for the lack of a better word. At the time,
Conservative?
conservative guy. He's the stand up straight, and and I'm a kid who's this color, and I'm trying to explain to him. Sometimes they just fuck with us. You know what I mean? Like they really do just fuck with us. They being the police.
Yeah.
This system attacks us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not always doing bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? And what they're teaching a police officer is that the people doing all the bad stuff are little black and brown ones. You know what I'm saying? So I had given this example, and I was like, yeah, go to Beverly Hills. And then the black guy walks in, and they're following him through the store. Meanwhile, the African guy got a credit card. He's killing them. The Asian bitch is boosting everything.
Yep.
So is the white girl. She's boosting.
Winona Ryder.
Remember the little girl that stole and then she went up there and beat the girl up on TikTok at the top of the escalator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody's looking at
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile,
Right.
everybody's doing most of the stealing because you're just so focused. So, of course, you're going to catch us if you, like, uber focus on me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, at some point, I'm a jaywalk or whatever. And so I was trying to explain that to my pop. So we had a bit of a contentious relationship. And so there's a lot of parts that he fills in now about music. But I had to just raid, like, my grandmother's house. I was, like, record shopping, and that's through hip-hop. And that's how I learned about the Watts Prophets and, you know, all music. Again, I knew, like, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson.
Right, the regulars.
Right.
That everybody knows.
Right. But I did not know about, like, no jazz. My pops didn't listen to jazz. He didn't, you know what I mean? He just wasn't his own.
So your dad's black.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think it was, or tell us a little bit, if you do know, like, what do you think it was for him at that time to where he didn't really understand that people were being racially profiled? Why do you think that wasn't?
I think they just suppressed that memory. When you go to, I mean, I can only imagine a dude from Arkansas,
Right.
which is the South, where even their body language. I remember going to Atlanta back day, and they put their head down. Yes, sir. They see white people and put their head down. They did. I watched it, and this wasn't fucking 70 years ago.
Right.
I'm talking about 1997, 8, 5. I'm like, bro, what? And I remember an older white man was just walking. He's like, son of almost a boy. Watch out, boy. I ain't got no boys here. I'll fuck you up, nigga.
Right.
You get fucked up. Nigga, like, man, you got to what? I'm like, I don't give a fuck, nigga. I know it's sundown town, whatever, bro. I'm from the big city. I don't play that shit.
Right.
So I got to imagine what that was like in 1960. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in a place where just eye roll could get you killed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he must have been born, like, obviously was segregated when he was born. Yeah.
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 So for him to get up, get out, and then you go to the military, they'll tell you, or they used to say, you come here and then we break you and then we rebuild you in our image. So it's,
Right.
Follow your commands and here's your reward. Then they go to Vietnam or wherever the fuck, and then they go blow up a whole bunch of people of color, and then they came back here and still got called niggers.
Absolutely. It's like dead presidents.
Right. So they came back and got spit on, and then he's like trying to figure out what do I do now? Probably traumatized.
Right.
Seeing your homeboys get blown up. Still got spit on, called a nig. And now, what do I do? So, LAPD, you got this. I'm military. Now you join a new military. A local military.
Yeah, and
city.
that was their model. Go under
Right.
like Parker, like
Yeah.
the police chief Parker, and then
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people don't know the first black mayor of LA, Tom Bradley. I mean, obviously you know, but like he only got into politics because he couldn't advance further because he was black in the LAPD.
Yeah.
Because it was like right after Parker. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
And Parker imported, which they still do, he imported all his police officers from the South.
Yeah.
He was grabbing the Klan members
Yeah, they would actively recruit
They would
like
they
white
recruited.
racists from
Yeah.
the South. Yeah.
to come beat on like an occupying force. So
Right.
I can't, I can't fault him for trying to make a way for himself.
Right.
But
No.
what I was trying to explain to him was, and I don't want to make him sound like a bad guy because I love my pops and we cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? But I think me having my journey helped me, maybe possibly helped him be able to see.
Opened his eyes up
Right.
to more.
And so I remember him, I couldn't have been much more than 10, but I remember him telling me, well, suspects tend to be between the age of 12 and 18, black male, black Hispanic. And I remember, baggy clothes, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember I just said, hey, but that sounds like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but meanwhile, I won't say their last name. My neighbor, Bobby doing drugs.
Right.
Bobby is actively doing drugs
Right.
as we speak.
Yeah.
You didn't say him, and I hate to make it that, black or white, but the world made it that way.
Right.
We didn't do that.
Absolutely.
And then people try to make you feel bad if you even bring it up, which is all this Republican, now it's, it's hard being a white guy and, it's white racism against white. Like, come on, bro. The last person to cry in America should be white guys. Stop that. Let's take some accountability here about who's been getting murdered and fucked over, and that includes white women too. Everybody, like, come on, man. Like, so we haven't had a honest dialogue about what's going on here, and which is why it keeps perpetuating itself. But I hope that my father and me, we made our peace, and then later on in life, we may not have gotten along that well when I was a kid, but by the time I was like 19, 20. I was just like, bro, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And he's a smart man. He just was doing what he had to do in them circumstances. But here's the other part. There's accountability to the planet. You know what I mean? Like, we all have to share this planet together. So having that kind of mentality where you're only blaming blacks and brown people for stuff is not being fully honest about what's going on in this country.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, I love about, you mentioned your love of history, and it's like, I also was like an encyclopedia person. So like, it's like but I love that you got your name from Johannes IV.
Yes,
that
sir.
was,
Yes,
the
exactly.
original Ras Kass.
Ras Kass.
Yeah.
Ras.
Yeah, right, yeah. Were you, where did you, reading up on Ethiopian history is one of the most interesting histories, actually.
Super. Basically, the only people that didn't get
Resisted colonialism.
right,
Yeah, the only
that
one.
successfully
Yeah.
beat it from the Italians. No, the fun fact, I was at Chuck E. Cheese not Chuck E. Cheese, Shakey's
Yeah.
pizza,
Shout out Shakey.
and it was
Yeah,
black.
shout out
It's great,
Shakey.
delicious.
And those little,
I'll ride
what's
for it.
those? The potatoes.
The
Oh,
wedges.
the Mojo potatoes.
The Mojos.
The Mojo potatoes.
Fire.
Yeah, great.
Still the best. I love Shakey's. It's the best. But yeah, it was some family stuff across the street from the Carson Mall, basically next door to where Ab-Soul's family owned the record store. But he wasn't Ab-Soul.
Yeah.
And I wasn't Ras Kass.
Yeah.
Whatever. But we went, and it was Black History Month, and they just had a poster of all these different people.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a little face or a drawing and a short little blurb about who they were. And the Ras Kass was there.
That's cool.
And that's where I got it from.
That's
So
cool.
I thank Shakey's for. I couldn't come up with a rap name.
It's so crazy. Shakey's was mentioned last night because I got Sharky's, and I had said, "Oh, have you ever had Shakey's?" And my friend was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "This is not in Bakersfield." And he was like, "Oh, you talking about the pizza place?" But I said it wrong. But
Right.
that's so weird. I feel like things like that are not coincidences.
Right, exactly.
When things are brought up, like randomly, like there was no reason for us to talk about Shakey's yesterday,
Right.
and then for you to bring that up.
The universe is working.
Yeah.
We're in alignment.
So
Kismet, as the
You put
Egyptians
out those
called
singles, and then do you have a demo that you show? I love the Rick Rubin story, which
Yeah.
which I know you've told, but I might have to ask you to tell
it.
that
As
again.
well. No, I had a demo. I had a 3-song demo.
Well, what are the 3 songs in the demo?
The Blacker the Berry. I Gets Busy. Battle Cat produced. I Gets Busy. Domino Theory did. The Blacker the Berry. And Battle Cat did Build and Destroy. I believe it was 3 songs. It might have been 4. But I had a demo, and then I almost had a record deal.
Who was that record deal with?
Delicious Vinyl.
Oh, okay.
And
Because they, I mean, yeah, at the time, I mean, they had Pharcyde, so they were
No.
like, and
No, they did
not
not.
even, it was before.
Pharcyde's deal is my deal.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Pocket,
They'll tell you that.
Truth Hurts.
That's crazy.
They'll tell you that. So I got the buzz. Paul Stewart, DJP.
Yeah.
So Paul,
Great guy.
Yeah. So Paul managing me.
And he was managing, Coolio was your friend too, not the,
Yeah.
right? And yeah,
Well,
he also managed
well,
Coolio, didn't
well,
he?
Wino, this might be around the same time, but I didn't know Coolio yet. I knew Wino.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't know if he was already working with Coolio.
It's like, this is like Mad Circle area, Coolio.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have the deal. I mean, they had brand new heavies. They didn't have no rappers.
Yeah. They like Tone Loc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tone Loc.
Yeah.
I had the deal. Well, the deal was on the table. And then I did some got fucked up, knew I was going to jail. But at the thing in Frisco,
Gavin.
the Gavin, you get your badges and all that stuff, whatever. So the hotel, they had the door locked because people trying to get in, because it's every rapper ever in there. So people trying to get in. And when I went out to go get a burger, they still have that burger place. It's called something, this big-ass hamburger. Anyway, I went to go get a burger, and when I was walking back, my friends, I saw 2 of my friends, and they was like, "Man, we trying to get a record deal, da-da-da-da-da." And I was like, well, it's a whole bunch of, like, execs in my room, and, in the hotel room. It was like a suite thing. I was like, but I was staying with, these guys that kind of want to invest in me. So Paul's in there. I think maybe Adrian Miller, Malik Levy, Lano Brazil, who was at Capitol at the time. Whatever. It's all these execs. And so they couldn't get in, but I had the badge, so I got them 2 in, and then I brought them upstairs, and I introduced them, and then they jumped all over the fucking hotel room, and they did Your Mama, a cappella. So that was Romai and Imani. Fat Lip wasn't there, and Trey wasn't there. And everybody was dying laughing, and it was super dope. I wish there was footage of it. They just was jumping over. Your mom's like, how fat is she? And they jumped around and fucking, they locked in with Paul. I would go on to go to Juvenile Hall. My time was short. I hadn't told anybody. And then by the time I got out, the album was out. They had done the deal. And life went on.
Yeah.
It was great. So it was great that, that opportunity wasn't lost.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
life changing. So they told a story. We were all together in London a couple of years ago, and that was the first time they actually like brought me out to the crowd. It was us, them, me, and Will I Am, and they like told the story like there wouldn't be no us without our friend Ras, da 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 da, which is nice. Sometimes you just want your credit, and,
Yeah.
to know like, hey,
That's cool.
you know,
Yeah,
this is. So,
interesting.
yeah.
Will I Am there. Yeah, most people don't know. Also a legend.
Oh,
Also
yeah.
on Ruthless Records, legendary
Yeah.
freestyler.
At Band
in LA.
Clan.
Yeah, at Band Clan.
Yeah, absolutely. Many of us, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, they're our big brothers. Pharcyde is, our big
Yeah.
bros. We all, like, what they called housing back in
Yeah.
the day, which was really breakdancing.
Mm-hmm.
But in LA, they called you housers. Oh, y'all be housing. So we like, I don't know
Housing
why.
ass nigga.
Right, yeah. The older
only
the game,
imagine.
the cool dude, they'd be like, oh, y'all on the house and all that rappy, get out, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't take us seriously. And some of some of us were like gang members, but the hip hop, the music brought us together. So we would
cool.
just be dancing, housing, and,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, but it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I'm the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Yeah.
So that's one of my Forrest Gump moments where I just like brought my friends in a room and they changed history, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
you do have one of the craziest. I mean, like it's like listening to. I mean, like doing the research and everything. It's like there's like every like turning
Mad
point in hip
connections.
hop. Like yeah, you're right there. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And then so Rick Rubin just starts Deaf American, and then he's trying to sign you.
Yeah. Well, so I lose that deal because you were
Yeah.
asking about my demo. So
Yeah.
I had that 4-song demo.
Yeah.
Albie that used to run Tommy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Because now Coolio and Battle Cat, before I go to jail, Coolio's probably going to get his deal or
Yeah.
something like that. But I remember Albie met me, Tretch and all of them. And Albie's like, he's a cute kid, you know what I'm saying? He's like, this is dope. He's like, we can't sell this. Because, it's like, he's adorable, but the stuff he's talking about
Yeah.
is not going to work. So
It's
I
not
remember
Chris-
Albie
this is
being
not
really
crisscross.
nice. Right.
Yeah.
He's like, and I've never, I never took that against Albie. Albie would let, I like Albie. I like all these people. But it was funny because my demo, I guess, was so grimy that we were trying to figure out how to market me. Then I went off to juvenile hall and jail. I was gone for like a year or so, year and a half or something. And then when I came out, by that point, Coolio's got County Line out.
Oh yeah.
The album's dropped, but County Line's popping. And then I come out, and which was really cool between Wino, the guy, that's who produced everything for
Yeah.
Coolio. The dude with the big afro, he's from our neighborhood in Carson.
Cool.
And, Wino and Coolio were really, really nice. And basically, I got out of jail and jumped on Lollapalooza with Coolio on them. And,
Oh wow.
yeah, I'm just out. I'm like, fuck, easy land on my feet.
Do you have
because
any
of my
crazy
big bros.
Lolla? That must have been
Okay, I got a great Lollapalooza story.
Yeah.
So, it was really hot at one of them, super hot, and waters were like ridiculous price, especially for me as a kid. Waters were like $10. I'm like, this is crazy.
That's still crazy to this day.
Right. So it's like super hot, but we got a chest of them. We got
Yeah.
the tour bus. We got mad,
Yeah.
There's big coolers of them. I'm like, you really doing these people like that? Lollapalooza, whatever. And Coolio's on a medium stage, and he'll bring me out to do a verse. And then the bigger stage, the main stage, is like Cypress Hill. I remember they had these big inflatable like bongs and all this other stuff, whatever. And before they went on, I think Be Real came over, so they was all chilling and Sin and all of them, whatever. I'm a little uppity little kid, whatever. And I had a water gun. I bought one of those, guns, a water gun, spray gun, like the
Super
A super
soaker.
soaker?
Yeah.
and I
Those are
dip
hot
it
at the
all
time.
up in the
Yeah.
whatchamacallem, in the cooler to get all
Yeah.
that cold water, and I start wet t-shirting all the girls, and they're loving it. They're like mouths open because it's hot as
It
hell.
was the 90s.
But it's
Right.
no, I'm not doing it if you don't want me to.
No, I know.
They like, I want this cold water.
Yeah.
Instead of paying that $10, I'm
Totally,
like doing
totally.
that and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They're like-
Yeah, they're loving it. And then, it worked the first day. The second day, I did it, and then Coolio came back. He's like, so Ras, Lollapalooza's upset because you're cutting into their profits, and so you cannot be wetting the girls up with the water because they want to sell the water. So I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. And then Be Real would later on in life, he's like, Holmes, I remember, this kid I was like, bro, that was me. This one little kid with Coolio Holmes. He was sweating up the girls with this.
So
and I'm
funny.
like, stupid Ras Kass. So yeah.
How old were you?
By that time, 15 and a half or something.
That's dope. 15 and a half hanging out with Coolio.
Yeah, 50. But so every time I started school early, got skipped. So I'm always 2 years older. So I'm not saying I'm 15. I'm saying I'm 17.
Was it just like you were just really advanced when you were a kid? Like,
my grandma just was trying to get me the fuck out of
Yeah.
the house because I was irritating and I had my head against the screen door. And I wanted to go outside instead of watching Days of Our Lives on the black and white TV with my grandma.
how old were you when you were? How old were you when you learned to read?
Lives.
My sister, I got 3 older sisters. I have no idea. Early on.
Yeah, I bet.
Early
Yeah.
on.
So then you're basically still shopping this demo, and then
So that demo's dead.
yeah, the demo's dead.
That's
Okay.
that's dead. And then Coolio is popping, and then I got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And then I make the new stuff.
And not become Soul on Ice.
No, that becomes Remain Anonymous
Oh, okay, got it.
and Won't Catch Me Running and
Okay.
all that.
Oh,
So my
interesting.
first demo, I don't have a copy of it. I wish I had it because there were like 7 songs all together. But process of life, I lost it.
Yeah.
You probably could put it on your Instagram, and your fans probably have one.
I would love for that. I asked Wino because he was like all that equipment. He was like, man, I got rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight is 2020. If he had those 4 tracks and 8-track tapes, it'd be crazy because I just would like to hear myself.
I do love all the early stuff that you put on like Line in the last few years. It's like really cool that it's there for like.
Yeah, for posterity.
Yeah.
Just it's not.
And it's
like,
incredible music too. I mean, it's just
It was our feelings, and if nothing else, it's just to for me to laugh because I sound like my friend sent me a song that I forgot we did, which was probably my first recording, and I sound like a 5-year-old Asian girl. No disrespect to Asian girls, but
Or
I do sound like
five-year-olds.
a 5-year-old
Or
or 5-year-old.
5-year-olds.
It's cringe, bro. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, who's this guy? He sucks. So it was funny. I had a song and I sound so like a kid. I'm like, wow, like not even like a boy kid. But that's part of the journey. It's just
Right.
for posterity. So yeah.
So then like basically like Priority and Deaf American are kind of
Yeah. So yeah.
competing beside you.
Sway and Tech, Wake Up Show, give us a platform, me and everybody else.
This is like before the '94 Wake Up Show
Mm-hmm.
anthem. Yeah, which if you haven't heard that, it's the great. I'm obsessed with. Like it's the greatest radio show theme
Anthem.
song ever made. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
crazy that people would make such good songs for like just a radio show.
I mean, there
Jingle,
was no
basically.
Instagram. It's
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
You
Totally.
gotta give it your best shot. Like at least we gonna get played every week.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
we could get it, if we could kill it, we'll, what
Yeah.
I'm saying, we'll live on. They gave us a platform, and then they had a relationship with Party Records, and they did the Street Fighter soundtrack, and they put me, Saphir, and Ahmad on that record, amongst other people, Nas and so, whatever.
Yeah.
All these big dogs. They giving us a shot. They really
Yeah.
trying to platform us. Because obviously we wouldn't have been anybody's first choice. Yeah, they gave us a platform, and that started kind of creating, and Remain Anonymous gave us an opportunity. And so, yeah, Rick Rubin would come pick me up, which in retrospect, I always say, like, it probably looked really cringe. Like,
It's like a Rolls Royce, right?
he's picking me up. I've never seen a Rolls Royce, or wasn't even aware of what a Rolls Royce was. But yeah, Rick Rubin would come pick me up in his Rolls Royce. So this little black kid jumps in the car with Santa Claus.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, that was when
Looking
Rick
like
Rubin
me.
was heavy set with the beard, wired hair
Yeah.
guy, and he picks me up in the Bentley. And then we roll, and he just picking my brains as a human being, and then would give me, I wish I still had them. He gave me like demos of like unreleased Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, like stuff. He, and really, took the time to get to know me as a person. So I always appreciate that. Yeah, Rick Rubin gave me an opportunity. Chris Lighting, rest in peace, flew me out to New York to go to Def Jam. So Def American, Def Jam, Priority Records. What I didn't know is that they had also, that Loud had given an offer.
Yeah, Loud actually, ironically, would have. Oh, not ironically.
That
Would
would've
have been
been
the right. That was the perfect place for someone like you. Yeah.
How didn't you know they gave you an offer? Was it
Because I was in a
management?
production deal, and they definitely didn't tell me that. And
They might not have offered as much money. Too.
That was why they didn't tell me.
Yeah.
What is a production deal like?
That just
Like a
means
pub deal?
No.
Oh.
It's just an excuse for people to get in your pocket if they're not gonna be the label. So it shifts. Like, we were supposed to be a company, and then Bro and them knew to get to the next level. So now it had to shift from we're a record label to we'll be your production company.
It's like kind of it's like a really predatory kind of structure.
It's a construct.
You kind of own an artist, like no matter where they go, like
Right.
you
Right.
then,
Right. So they shifted an agreement and then put me in the production deal. And obviously they want as much money as possible. Not necessarily what's best for the project or the artist. And by that time, we didn't get along anyway. I understood what they were doing. And so if I would have known Loud, I would have picked Loud. And I only found that out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Did Loud sign Exhibit?
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah, right.
After that. So that was a crazy thing. And Rifkin, we happened to just be on like some interview together. There's a whole bunch of that. He's like, you're the only artist I ever made an offer to that didn't sign with me. And I was like, never knew that, because I definitely would have signed there.
Yeah, because
come on, Wu-Tang Clan.
What
Squad
label
was
is that
crazy.
now?
Big Pun.
It doesn't exist.
Oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
So Loud had Wu-Tang, Big Pun, The Licks, Mobb Deep.
Ooh.
Just they squad
A
was.
lineup.
They lineup was crazy.
Yeah, they had a good street promo team too. That was the thing.
Loud was still LA based.
Yeah.
So I would have definitely went there, as opposed to, the only reason why I didn't go to Def Jam was because they had the other big dogs, and I was like, but I'm a kid in LA, and how do I get to New York if shit goes bad?
Yeah.
So the reason why I always say you do the wrong things for the right reasons sometimes.
Yeah.
So I picked Priority because at least it was local. If I would have known that Loud, but hindsight is 20/20. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah.
If my ass was
Now is Priority a label?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's
Priority Records doesn't exist as a label now. It folded into Capitol Records.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's how, and then Priority got folded.
Right, to EMI.
Oh, yeah. Was it Interscope, or was it Priority got folded?
No, EMI. They hated
Capital. It was
Interscope.
Capital, right?
Yeah, Capital.
EMI,
Capital.
right,
Capital
right,
EMI.
right,
Yeah.
And that began the whole saga, basically.
Yeah. So it's an imprint at this point, but for all general purposes, Priority Records doesn't exist. There's really only 2 or 3 labels at this point. The rest of this is shenanigans.
Right, because I had heard recently, didn't Atlantic merge with a lot of...
Well, that's the problem with actually, if you know the history of music, you realize that almost all the music that anyone ever loved that was actually generally original came out via an indie with major distribution.
Right.
More often than not. Well, and that goes to jazz, that goes to blues, that goes to rock music, like Sun Records. You know what I mean? They're all somebody. It's kind of even like Atlantic when it started was Matt Erdogan, who was kind of a visionary and had interesting taste, or a Rifkin doing Loud Records But
it's like our modern day, Empire or 300 type thing.
It's smaller though, because they'd have 8 to 10 artists. So you'd have real artist development, and you'd pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'd see an artist that obviously was kind of special, but maybe didn't necessarily have overt mainstream appeal at that point. But even someone you think about Outkast. Would Outkast get nurtured to the point of where because they didn't really break until the 3rd album,
right?
And really not huge until the 4th album, Sangonia,
right?
And now it's just a different world where it.
Well, even when we were getting signed, there wasn't really quite artist development.
No, I'm sure not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They used to be artists in repertoire, in artist development. And, they put them in classes and made them do routines, and talking about the '60s
Media
and the '70s,
training.
Media training and all this stuff. Now just get out there, idiot.
Get on TikTok.
Do what you do.
Yeah, right. Get to dancing. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you a watch and a stupid chain, and go ahead on. Or I'll buy you a butt.
Yep.
Go ahead, girl. Buy you a butt and get your weave. Get to getting.
That butt.
So were you reading like Elridge Cleaver when you came up with Soul and Ice? Was that was?
I was in juvenile hall, so my mom bought me that book amongst other books, but that's the one that resonated with me.
Yeah. And I mean, that was like, I always wanted to ask what was the, also one of the great remixes. The Diamond D remix of
Yeah,
that is like
D
one of the greatest
saved
remixes.
me because
Yeah.
we didn't have a record that activated. And my record was supposed to come out 2 years before it did, basically. I mean, 2 years. Yeah, it was supposed to come out 2 years before it did.
Did it come out, what, like 95 or 96?
96.
96. So yeah, so
So
was
it should have been.
finished in
It should have
94.
been 94, where the grimy sound still worked.
Totally.
And I had found out that my business partners had put me in a shit deal, and then it became that. Then we had to make peace between us two, and then we had to negotiate an agreement with a record label, and then revamp the record
Interesting.
to have an album to put out. And so that's, the politics and the business of things kind of sometimes can fuck with the timing of putting out, art.
Yeah, no,
So-
it's interesting. I always think about the hook because our show's called The Truth Hurts, and you
Right.
can't handle the truth.
You want the
and
truth, you
obviously
can't handle the truth. Yeah, no, D saved the day. And we only had 3 days to get that song done. And that's literally me flying to New York, him cooking up a beat. Back then it wasn't digital. So I had to fly to New York, kick it with D. I remember he kept playing stuff. I was like, I like that. I like that. I wasn't sure if I was just going to say the same rhyme. But I was pretty confident I probably wasn't. But then I remember him playing something in the other room, that string. I was like, bro, I want that. Keep working on that. That sounds crazy. And then, I had to write it. So I wrote it, and we went in the next day, and I laid it. Then he had to mix it, and we had to submit it by like Monday. So it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And by Monday, we had to have that shit. And we got it done, and he saved the day.
what was the truth that we couldn't handle?
I was talking to me.
Yeah.
The truth is, you want Lexus Moonroof,
Yeah,
Hennessy, 80 proof.
Yeah.
The truth is that we're all fallible, and we want material shit when there's a lot more important things going on this planet. So, yeah, it's actually a mirror. I'm talking in the mirror. I'm saying you want the truth, and you can't handle it, that you are just as corrupted as everybody else.
Damn.
And that's the sad truth.
Yeah. No, that's real. Yeah.
So with you being so young, making music, you said your dad and your mom and them weren't really into music, and your dad's a little bit more conservative. He was a police officer. How and what was he saying around this time? Was he cool with you stepping into these lanes and doing it? You're young.
Yeah, no, I don't want to make him sound like a bad guy, because he'll be like, you make me seem like, I'm like, nah, man, but it's just
no,
kind of true. No,
it's kind of like how it is with me and my parents. They're older. Parents have to realize that what you did is a reality.
Right.
It's like, it's not that we're bashing you or we're talking
Right.
about it, but we did have a strict upbringing. You did what my ass. You did do this. You did do that. Like, it's not bad.
Right.
But I think in the Black community, with us, nobody talks about nothing.
Right.
So when you get on the internet and you start talking about your parents, it's already a thing.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I understand it, but it doesn't mean if you're just giving your reality that you're
I'm trying
talking
to shit on
exactly
him,
bad
right.
about him, because you guys have a good relationship now.
Yeah.
You're significantly older
Yeah.
than you were then.
Yeah.
It was your reality.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember him saying, yeah, rap is a fad. And I remember being a kid like, rapper never died, Dad.
I
Whatever.
love that.
And then,
Everyone thought that at the time. Yeah, people
Right,
really
right.
did. Yeah.
They didn't rap. It was just a fad. I'm like, and I'm diehard. Rap. And then, once you get a record deal, and sign for fucking $500,000, they just shut anybody up.
Right. Now, was your mom as conservative as he
No.
was?
And, and my mom is an imperfect human being, as we all are. But my mother was, if nothing else, my mom wanted to be a creative. She did. She just wasn't good at it. She wasn't good at molding or whatever, like clay. She tried it all.
But she had like
Right.
an artistic spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
But so she really did want
Right.
artists. Her biggest shit talk to me was later on when she said, I thought I was going to have, this is how my mom talks. I'm very good at imitating her. She gets mad at it. She got mad at it. That's her cadence. So she was like,
Mine
I
too.
thought that I was going to have a philosopher. And I said, if you think about it, I am.
Right.
Like, listen to them out there. I'm not making poke your ass out, bitch, all the time. And I'm not knocking those records. I'm just saying, I'm talking about like history and philosophy and whatever. So I'm like, you kind of got that, lady. So I say that to say this. My mom pushed. She didn't push. She did. She was very fair and supportive of the ones that wanted to be creatives. But I do understand why my father was my father, because of his think about most those black families is go to school, go work for the city, whatever that city is, go get you a county job so you can get you some insurance
Right.
and some dental
A pension.
and a pension so you can retire. All that creative shit is a fool's errand. You don't want to get up there, and this shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. I've told the truth right now about my mother and my father. I didn't want my kids to be doing no rapping and tapping. I'm like, I wanted the same thing. I'm a hypocrite to a certain degree.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted my kids like, look, go to college. I want one of y'all to be an accountant, because some of our, it's gonna be some dirty money here. We gotta figure out how to wash some of this dirty money.
Right.
And then one of you guys gonna be the judge or the attorney, because somebody gonna get in trouble, and I need y'all cheaper lawyer, nigga. I need the family attorney.
Yeah.
So literally, my little sister, she didn't like it. My mom and me, but really, she did it. She innately, my little sister's Berkeley Law. You know what I'm saying? And music. You know what I'm saying? She's a music attorney. Well, she doesn't even practice, but that's what she graduated. You know what I'm saying? Doing. And you know why? Because she saw the fuckery that happened to her brother. So she was able. Now, I don't have to go retain some lawyer, especially when I spent so-and-so tens of thousands of dollars just to get out of a record deal with Capitol Records. Yeah. Would I want that for my kids or anybody I know? No. But at least now I got my sister. She will fine-tooth comb some shit and say, nope, take this out, change this, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I don't have to
school
pretend.
for that.
That's her expertise. So we all need each other, and I'm glad that my parents gave me the yin and the yang. My dad's like, do this. My mom's like, well, be creative.
Right.
And then nobody did music in my family. And if it wasn't for my big homies that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, which again is Battle Cat and Wino and, the Coolios and DJP and all these other people that just said, hey, kid, you got a talent, let's cultivate it. And most of them didn't run around and rob me. They just allowed me to be myself and try to pursue my dreams. And so I have gratitude to that, which in turn informed the information I could impart to, my little sister, to whoever, to Exhibit, to my peers and my brothers, to Eminem, to whoever, to Joel Ortiz, to Royce 5'9", to to Coast Contra, to whoever. Just like, look, here's my successes and failures. Here's information, and that it can be done. At least we jumped off the porch. We tried.
That's cool.
Right.
And then I wanted to ask always about, because while you're in the Priority deal, then Dre kind of was like pre-Aftermath Dre, or was performing it?
No, it was before.
Before.
Oh, yeah, you did say pre. I'm sorry. You said pre-Aftermath.
So he's
yeah,
like, it was a
absolutely.
different name for it, right? That it was.
I won't say it.
I feel like I have it somewhere in my notes, but I forgot.
What he wanted to call it was one thing.
Yeah, not Aftermath.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna tell it.
Yeah.
Because
you can Google it. Yeah.
Has anyone ever told it?
No,
so.
it's out there.
It's out
yeah,
there?
I forgot that. I thought I read it.
It's Locomotive.
Yeah.
It was called Locomotive.
And then, well, you guys made.
It does not have the same hit as Aftermath.
I mean, Van Gogh is a great song.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great song. How did you meet Dre in the first place?
I met Dre way before one time, housing, dancing for a dude from Long Beach named Dre Be Gone in Compton at some club, but I was like underage and Suge. I remember Dre, because he performed. Dre performed and we was his dancers, me and my homies. So he didn't meet me. I met him. He didn't give a fuck. They was doing whatever. He might have signed up the older homeboy, Dre Be Gone. And then I remember it was Dre, and then Suge was right behind him, like bodyguardish. But that was way on. By the time I become Ras Kass, I met him because my friend that helped me on my first album is a blood dude. I mean, he's older now, but back then he was an active blood from Inglewood. His name is Flip, Michael Barber. So Flip,
Government.
yeah, I mean, he's good now. He's like writes code. This nigga's super nerd now. His brother is Brian Barber,
Okay.
the
yeah.
Idlewild director.
Right,
So
yeah,
Brian is the older brother.
Oh,
Flip,
cool.
we the same age bracket. Flip saved my life when my company's stealing from me and I got to fix the album. So Flip, through our friend, rest in peace, Kalani, who on Solo Nights, I pour out liquor for him. Rest in peace, Kalani. So Kalani brought us together. Flip is the angry Inglewood blood dude. I'm just the little angry Carson kid and Watts kid, whatever, but that's my bro. So bro pulled me through, and he's already really good friends with DJ Quick. Not so much Dr. Dre as much as there was a group called Po Broken Lonely.
Okay.
And they had a song called Twisted. Baby was twisted. The three people in that group went to school with Dre. And when he starts Aftermath, before he calls it Aftermath, he's already corralling his squad. So one person is Mike Lynn, who was vice president of what would become Aftermath. Mm-hmm. Mike Lynn, Chris the Glove, the DJ and the producer, the legend.
Yeah.
So he becomes a producer at Aftermath. And then Rubin, RC, Rubin Cruz. Mm-hmm. So they all grew up together. RC ends up on Aftermath as an artist. Yeah. So those three, I already knew them. And one day Mike Lynn called me. And it was just like, after my first album came out, which didn't do great, but it didn't do bad. But, you know, back then, if you didn't go gold.
Yeah, the numbers are so crazy.
Right.
Yeah. I
mean, so I think I did like $350.
And they're making, you don't even realize.
And
they're
like,
making
you're
crazy
suck,
money.
you suck. Right.
$20 a copy.
But
like
$20 a CD.
You're like,
I'm the
six,
failure
that's like
here.
$6+ million you just grossed.
But I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Because so and so did this, or so like, wow, okay.
Well, it's like you're competing with Master P. You're like,
everything's relative.
Yeah, totally.
Ice Cube does this, Snoop Dogg does that,
yeah.
West Side Connection does that, blah 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 blah. You know, so I'm the failure. Okay. Yeah. And I remember Mike called me and was like, "Hey, you know, what you doing?" I was like, you know, I think I came back from out of the country. And anyway, he's his provider. He was like, you know. We're starting this new company. You should pull up. So I just went over there to, you know. So that's how I met Dre. I met Dre because Mike Lynn, who would be his vice president, brought me over there. Yeah. Started playing some records. I started writing. So I was kind of just there to be pen game. That's when Mailman was still like a rapper. Yeah. He had King T over there. King T's album was finished. It was incredible. Rakim was there.
Yeah, right. He signed Raekwon about that time too. Maybe it was a little later, but yeah.
I don't recall him mentioning Raekwon. I know the Firm.
I think it might have been after Immobilarity or something, like '98 or something. Yeah.
He had the Firm. I think he had Special Ed, but I never heard none of those songs.
Yeah.
But he had the Squad, and I just saw the vision.
He had Eve, didn't he? Like Eve was on the first the Been There, the compilation with Been There, Done That.
Yeah, he had Eve. And they just had this incredible squad, and I was just like, I remember just telling people like, man, you know, and I remember Dre just asking like, so what are you doing? I was like, I guess, I was like, well, it seems like the label's gonna pick up the option. Yeah. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna do another album over here. And then I was like, and I remember I was like, and then my girlfriend's pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. I think I'm having some twin boys, so I do vaguely. That's what I do recall about that experience. And he's like, "Well, you know, shit, come over and write." I was like, "Yeah, I like the creative process," so I would just go over and write. Yeah.
And who were you writing for? You were ghostwriting?
For potentially for him.
Okay.
Period. You know, their thing is
potentially for Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dre's not a writer. Dre's a producer.
Right. I know.
Mm-hmm. So, just coming up with hooks and ideas. So it's just kind of more of a group effort. So
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he signed Kendrick later, who I feel like there's like some of Kendrick's DNA is your DNA.
Yeah. If you know, you know. It's not to negate some of Eminem's DNA is Raz's DNA. So, you know, it's not to negate anybody. We're all influenced by each other. But it was just to working on records. So get in where you fit in. Like, do you got a better hook than this one? Right. I don't know. Let me try this idea. You know, so it was more of that. And I wasn't the only person there, but that was part of the goal.
Right.
Because when they do an album, the cool part is seeing all this great energy. And who knows who's going to have the... In general, rappers is going to write their verses. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
maybe that ain't the right hook. So they're good at like that part.
Yeah,
like,
the Quincy Jones element.
yeah,
of
the Quincy
producing,
Jones.
Right.
Right.
It's that. It's,
Yeah.
He doesn't have to push every button. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He doesn't have to play every instrument, but he'll... You know, I remember him changing the entire trajectory of a record over the phone. Like, no, play it, like me, Scott Storch, a few other people, just playing it over the loudspeaker. And he's like, play the keys this way. Like this. I'm like, fuck, hell. You know,
Right.
so that's the beauty of it. It takes this village to raise a child. That's what a record is.
And
Right.
Did you guys make the song Van Gogh in the studio together?
No.
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 Just gave you that beat.
Because Dre didn't produce Van Gogh. Khalil
He didn't?
produced.
Oh, interesting.
DJ
Because it
Khalil.
sounds so much like a Dre beat. Yeah, yeah.
DJ Khalil.
Yeah, right.
And that was
Yeah.
Khalil's first.
A very underrated producer, Khalil. Yeah.
No, he made
Great
a lot
producer.
of money. He's got Jay-Z
That's good.
records. He's got
Yeah,
black.
he's a great producer.
That
Yeah,
guy's fucking. He's rich.
yeah, good.
He's got two on Jay-Z, one on Nas, blah 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 blah. Dr. Dre records.
Yeah,
They don't feel sorry for the people that just get in the bag.
that's yeah.
They-
You never know though.
You don't want to be.
never know.
I'd rather take the money
Yeah,
than the honey.
that's
So,
the best advice I ever got. Was you don't want you're better off with money than fame.
That part.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Fame with no money is actually a curse.
Oh, yes, it is.
because everyone thinks you have way more money than you do.
It sucks.
Yeah, no, I just I'm writing a story right now about the author Jack Kerouac, and I stayed at his house, and in St. Petersburg, where he died, like the end of the road, right? And he was I was going through some of the letters and the biography written about him in that time, and he's like, everyone thinks I have way more money, and he died, and like this is the guy who wrote On the Road, which is a book that's read like in everyone has read the book, or a lot of people have at least. He died with like I think $200 in his bank account.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had a small house in St. Petersburg, and that was it. And he would be complaining. And it's just funny to see how artists were always then. And he's like, man, they'll buy J.D. Salinger, like rich college kids will buy J.D. Salinger hardback for $10. He's like, these broke motherfuckers will be buying one of my book paperback and passing it around to 10 people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's a sadness about art, you know,
Yeah.
because it usually comes from a troubled place, hurt, anger, something, you know,
Right.
Totally.
or love. The flip side is that,
Yeah.
like, I really like this girl, I'm gonna build her this big fucking Taj Mahal because I like her,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, because I can. But you know, again, you know, art is hard to quantify because most times the artists get fucked because business supersedes art.
Right.
And so a lot of people end up, you know, not getting their
What they
just
deserve.
dues. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask you. With you being so young, you were saying that your production team wasn't doing what they needed to do. How did you know? And like, tell us the story when you kind of like realized, like, okay, niggas ain't doing what they supposed to be doing,
Well,
and I'm
you-
missing out on shit.
Well, you realize that when, you know, you finally read the contract that the person sat with you and told you, but made sure that you were legally of age, knowing you're not really the age, but waits, and then you find out that nothing that was told to you about the contract is in the contract.
Right.
That's when you know. When somebody else, you know, that's without talking too many other people's situations. That's the reason why Jay-Z was able to get out of his contract, and why Exhibit, who was in a predatory contract, was able to get out of his early on,
Right.
because he could prove it. You know, there was, you know,
That there was some wrongdoing.
that there was some shenanigans. Mine, I couldn't.
Right.
But they knew it. You
Right.
know, but yeah, after that, it's, you know, that's when the rose-colored glasses come off, and you're just
Right.
like, hey, man, you know. And David Banner was with me.
I love David
when
Banner.
when I got,
Shout out to you.
yeah, absolutely.
Fine ass. He is so fine. Been fine.
Okay, I don't know what to do with that, but
I know what to do.
If you're out there, David Banner,
Come
Oh,
on
free.
now.
oh, my God, that was
free.
cool.
I know you're a philosopher now.
Oh wow. Hi, David. Let me introduce you. It's a beautiful thing.
Free.
Right. There you go. Beautiful. No. So we were like, we when our record deals fell apart, we were roommates, staying with Wendy Day, who's one of the most amazing,
Rap
rap
coalition,
coalition,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Wendy helped a lot of people, including the Locks, including Eminem, including Cash Money, who she had ended up having to sue.
You're right. She like negotiated the whole deal for Cash Money, right?
Yeah, and then tried to cut her out, and she had to sue, but that's what she got that bag.
Yeah,
They
to be fair, that is the Birdman special.
Right,
Like,
right.
You want your money, you got to sue. It's like Trump. It's like same shit. You want your money, you have to
You
sue.
have to sue, but sometimes it costs to even.
It costs. No, that's how.
Yeah.
That's
what people
That's
anticipate.
what they're counting on.
That's what they're
Yeah,
counting
and
on.
that's why they think that you're not
They
going to
can afford in-house counsel.
Right.
Big difference.
Trust me, just to just to get fired from Capitol Records, years and years and tens of thousands of dollars just to get fired.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
it took like
Just to
7
get
years
fired.
or something,
Yeah,
right?
7 years.
So what would, because we get a lot of younger generation of rappers on here from the West Coast and shit. What advice would you give to any upcoming rappers or anybody, even the ones that we've had on here, on how to do business differently outside of what you might have done? Or do you have any advice for
What
the
the
younger
fine
generation?
print giveth. I'm sorry, what the large print giveth, the fine print taketh away.
Okay.
Period. And the most unfortunate part about all business is that people lie, numbers don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be your girl, that could be your homie, that could be whoever, man. The most fucked up part about this business is that it could be your man, 50 grand, y'all done shot together, and that'll be who fucks you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so real.
Real shit.
Yeah.
It could be your girl, y'all been together since you was 15, and they'll do some fuck shit. So you got to put it on paper.
It's just
Right.
Put it on paper. And a lot of us, retaining lawyers is expensive, and which is what people count on. Because then it just becomes your word against theirs.
Right.
And people lie. I've watched people do amazing lies. And all I should have done, I always now just say, look, if somebody's not willing to put it on paper in a contract, it probably ain't worth doing the business with them.
Right.
Because you're going to have a way harder time trying to fix it later.
And I feel like that's the first red flag. Like, you don't want this to be solidified that this is what we're talking about.
Right.
Then, you on bunk from
Right.
jump. You're
Right.
on bullshit from the gates.
You already, there's fuckery in your heart.
Exactly.
Right.
From the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned Exhibit a minute ago, and I was going to say I wanted to ask you about one of my favorite verses of yours, and one of my favorite songs in general ever is 3 Card Molly.
Okay.
And how did that song come together? Were you guys in the studio, or was that?
Yeah.
What was that? Do you remember anything about that session?
Yeah. We probably were at, I can't remember where we recorded it, but I really do want to say we probably did it at Record One, at a Dre session, because Bud and Stu and them were Aftermath producers.
Okay.
Dre had, at that time in general, he had 3 producers early on in Aftermath, if you check the credits, outside of himself. So Butter, Stubby Doo, and Chris the Glove, and then Dre being the producer. Then he had players, the Scott Storches and all of, whatever, keys, bass line, whatever. But if I recall correctly, Bud played that beat, and everybody was upset that they didn't get it. I was mad.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy. It was such a fire beat. And then I was actually happy that X picked, that one for us. Because I might have took that one to the, dolo. Like, fuck that. That beat was crazy. Dun, dun, dun. I was like, man, this shit crazy. Incredible. The drums were crazy. There's some ambient noises, like, bing, bing. You got these, like, beeps in it. It's just an ill record. His flip, I heard the original sample.
Uh-huh.
Like, what he did to it, he just killed it. Bud is one of the illest. But, yeah, man, I just remembered us being in there with that shit playing loud. Like, all right, so this the one for y'all, this the one for y'all. And our whole thing was like, then we, pick one for each album. For my album, do one for mine, do one for blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I think, because actually it's kind of dumb. I remember being in Times Square, and it's the 3-card, but I said 3-card Molly, and it's really Monty. So I called the song 3-card Molly because I was thinking about the cups. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it works, though, like kind of in its own way.
Right, with Molly or whatever. Yeah. But And then, pick a card, any card. I bet you can't pull it. Probably start somewhere there. And I was just figuring, we had a really great chemistry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Golden State Warriors album
yeah.
was like a mythological, like
Yeah,
unicorn that everyone wanted. That record.
I wish we could have pulled some things off. I mean, honestly, that was my record label. Like Loud was fine with it. Saphir was still signed to Quincy Jones' label. I forgot what it's
Quest.
called. Quest.
Right, yeah.
Priority, man. It's almost at some point it started to feel like it was sabotage.
Yeah.
Who was the main nigga at Priority? Call him out. I need to know at this point. Who the fuck is you? Main nigga at Priority.
And he didn't do it. I don't even
He's still
blame.
alive?
Yeah.
Well, it got bought, so it became Capital EMI, which is a
Yeah, but
multinational.
who's doing the shit? I need to know who's doing the shit in the back of the game.
I forgot. By the time it really went to Capital, it was like Wendy Goldstein, and I forgot who the boss was. And
So you don't even know who was playing in your face when they was doing it?
I mean, it was a few people, because even, we didn't fold directly into Capital. They bought the minor share, 49%. Brian owned 51%. So we were still on Sunset at the ESPN building for years. But once they bought him out, they bought a little bit more, and probably offered him a shitload of money, and then it just became a different machine. And there was only a few people that even made that cut, which I should have. I didn't know they were going to be worse. They promised some shit, didn't put it on paper, and then yanked the rug out. And then really even prior to that, they were fucking up the Golden State deal, and
right.
we ended up, a year into that, just really undermined it. I take responsibility because the label. There's a provision in a music contract that says if the label is unable and or unwilling to fulfill their obligations, you have the right to sue for breach of contract. They were either unable. Or unwilling.
Just fucking you over and you
right.
didn't know.
And so, which is why I sued. I was like, you guys keep doing this. This is an alley-oop. And I remember saying, like, bro just sold 1 million records. Dr. Dre and him are saying they're going to give us some money to do a project, but you don't have to do shit but collect, and you're making this difficult.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Because obviously it ain't the money thing.
It's
now.
something deeper.
It's something. This is some blackball shit.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I hate to make it that way, but and then come to find out, some of it was just resentment. I don't know if it's resentment about my platform or things, my opinion on certain things or whatever. But it wasn't money at some point. It just became vindictive.
Right.
And so that's why I had to sue, because I was like, they're just gonna keep me here and fuck me up. I'd rather die. I'd rather get nowhere slow. I'm sorry. I'd rather get nowhere fast than get nowhere slow.
Right. Absolutely.
So I was getting nowhere slow. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to have to get nowhere faster than this.
Right.
And then figure out what to do after that. So, it's unfortunate. The Golden State album should have happened.
Are there like songs that exist?
Look, just like send them to me. Be like, is there anything you want to say?
I feel like
no, you don't understand.
I feel like they got bootleg.
Like, yeah.
I feel like they got bootleg.
Because Saphir also
like
Exhibit. Like first of all, Exhibit is super underrated in general. Like people
Yeah.
think of him as the Pimp My Ride guy. You're like the first three.
It's a better
Exhibit
place
albums.
to be. Let me just say that.
No,
I'd
it's
rather be
true.
the guy that
Yeah.
got the check for the Pimp
No,
My Ride
he
than
was
not.
smart. No, yeah.
So,
but I also understand why he kind of like got rubbed the wrong way by people that like were expecting him to be like. You like the happy fun, like you know what I mean. Exhibit's first 3 albums are especially the first 2 are fucking dark. Like, there's some dark ass records, like Bird's Eye View. Anyways, whatever you know.
Did
but,
you win your,
like,
did you win your lawsuit against
no,
them?
we had to just fucking make peace.
Okay, so you guys settled it out.
Yeah, it was awful.
Now, what was the reasoning if you could prove, because I know people are going to want to know this, that's in the game or maybe have certain things going on. If you could prove it, that they were fucking you over, what was it that you just didn't win, all the way around the board?
Because money talks and bullshit does 9 flat and 100-meter dash, man. They spent way more money. So I sued them in L.A. and California. Then they countersued me.
Damn, the countersue.
Yeah.
But it's just a tactic.
Their argument is just going to cost more money. Their argument was...
And they had it.
No.
I mean, it's like how the criminal justice system works. You see how they like they'll just keep.
They're
like,
gonna keep.
You'll run out of money.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm saying they had the money to
They have
continue to keep
Yeah.
suing people.
They
all
don't
do.
even have use their in-house lawyers. When you sue these big companies, they go get sharks downtown.
Okay.
I remember just having that conversation. I was like, I've never seen any of you guys in the office. And then once they sued me here at Counter, then Big Daddy sued me for the opposite reason. EMI sued me in New York. And guess what? Then that's another $40,000, $50,000 after you turned off my water. And if I would have sued them there, then they would have sued me in Hawaii. Then they would have sued me in Texas. Bro, rich people don't play fair.
Right.
I won't make it a white or black thing. I will just make it rich people will. You're pissing against a water hose. I'm not saying it's helpless,
Right.
but I'm just saying it's hard.
Well,
Now,
that's
do you
It-
feel
it-
like deep down inside it was a white and
Of
black
course, it
thing?
was some racism
Okay.
involved. The only reason why I really got out that deal was because I said something very human to them, and I said after forced mediation, after 7 years, after we would have to go to court, and then they would say, "Oh, we're going to change our lawyer, so we got to start over." That's what they kept doing, like
Right.
3 times, like 2 years of this shit. And then we're about to go to court, and then they're like, we're gonna get new lawyers, so start over. And my attorney is a black woman who hates me because of this situation. That she saw it all the way through,
crazy.
but we never won, and that fucked her up too, because that's a lot of fucking time to give, and when you run out of money, and that's fucked up. They ruined a friendship I had with somebody. For being evil, but they beat me. They literally sued me for the opposite. So Capital sued me for being lazy. You don't do anything, so you're a bum. And then New York sued me and said, we have 25, 30 songs that you've done, and then you put 2 on a mixtape, so you're actually been the breach. So which one is it? Am I the lazy black coon, or am I the fucking hardworking black guy that mixtapes? That's why we put them on the mixtapes.
Right.
Because otherwise they won't put out the album if you don't have any buzz.
Right,
So it's
we're
you're
gonna
trapped.
buzz. So it's a shit show. They know they're fucking lying,
It's-
but they literally. It doesn't matter. After you run out of money, they win. What's called if you don't answer something, you lose it automatically. It's called a default judgment.
Okay.
So they got the default in New York.
Right, because you didn't answer back.
I ran out of money. I couldn't keep answering it.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's a tactic.
when you say you lost, did you end up initially having to pay these labels anything, or you all just
No,
decided
I sat with them, and we still had this other one, and then it was forced mediation, and then technically I'm not even supposed to talk about all this stuff exactly, but I will just say this. This is what I told them. I said, you can win here in laws that are man-made that you manipulate, because you've done this to my people and other people many times.
Right, absolutely.
Slavery was legal. Doesn't make it moral or right.
Right.
So you can beat me with your white man-made laws. I said, but I'm somebody's child, and I'm also a parent. And I said, what you should hope is that as you sit around this big wooden table and get millions of dollars, and most of you I don't even know, I've never even seen you, that, yeah, I could be a number, tort, whatever, case number, but I'm somebody's kid. I'm a human being, and I will hope that nobody does this to your child.
Right.
What you have done is not only have you ruined my career for years and years, but now you're trying to blame me for it.
Right.
And I don't even know you guys, so you are just the hired hitmen on an assassination of me by some other cowards that won't even come here.
Right. They came in on a boat and they
Right.
left on a boat.
Right. So if you get to sleep at night over this, you just hope nobody ever does that to your kid.
Right.
This is bullshit. You know it's bullshit, and you guys are fucked up that this is the kind. But so does that. Look, this is the way this country works.
Mm-hmm.
Off of motherfuckers' bones. Bodying motherfuckers. Off the bones of Native Americans, and then motherfuckers say, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Bones of black people that built these railroads, built the infrastructure. Black niggas building a White House, serving them being misinformed. This is bullshit, and nobody wants
Let's
to
not
count
forget
it.
about the slaves
Well,
breastfeeding
else?
other people's babies.
Babies.
Right.
Being used as gator bait.
Yeah.
To catch crocodiles, using little children. Nobody wants to take accountability here, to target us, to create these conditions, to misinform, miseducate. We're all victims of it, but nobody wants to talk about it. And that's why we, and if you, well, now you're the bitter, angry person.
Yep.
Now here's the other part. It actually is a disservice to all people. If you misinform, say the thing that nobody's going to like. Lies affect the liar and the person lied to.
That's real.
Absolutely.
And so if we can't get here and have an open, honest dialogue, you're doomed to repeat them over and over. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think you're right.
Absolutely. And that's why I like our podcast, because we're very open about racial issues, and it's not an awkward situation. Like, Jeff's not uncomfortable during this conversation. He speaks about this type of shit sometimes before we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think if people talked about it and they lived in the truth, you did it. It's okay. Like, we're living amongst each other, and we're friends, and we're coexisting, but it did happen.
Right.
So it needs to be discussed and talked about. But those uncomfortable situations and those uncomfortable conversations are what motherfuckers don't want to talk about, because they don't want to take accountability for the fact. They want us to get over it. But we can't, because we're still living in it as we speak today.
Right.
I was going to ask you, one of the questions that I had was, you wrote Nature of a Threat in the mid-'90s. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it today? I mean, like, it still feels like a...
Solo on Ice. Solo on Ice as an album is truer today than it was when I wrote it.
Yeah.
So people are always like, you're a prophet. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just... The writing's on the wall, bro. Read the room. We were in denial, and now it's truer than it's ever been. The intro to Ras Assassination with the... we made it, I forgot, Caesar Hitler or whatever. There's this guy at the beginning, is this dystopian setup for Ras Assassination. Yeah. And the guy saying, no dogs or niggers allowed and all this stuff. And same thing that's happening where it's becoming these all-white communities. And you understand what I'm saying? Marching. No, Jews will never replace us. Motherfuckers marching. And that's a thing that's to be said and acceptable. That we're not being real here. And that's why it's... And now, because it's like almost gaslighting, like, no, it's not really happening, although
it's happening.
It's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's just like it's just the water. It's a frog in a pot of boiling water. You know.
Right.
It's just like.
So would you say at this day and age, today, that you feel like you got blackballed in the industry?
I know I did.
Okay.
And they told people. Of course I did. I'm just as good as your favorite rapper. I'm probably better than your favorite rapper. I'm not going to sit here and mince my tongue.
Right.
Behind closed doors, your favorite rappers know who I am. And bar for bar, I don't give a fuck if it didn't sell again. If a bear poops in the woods, doesn't mean he didn't poop because you didn't smell it.
Yeah.
Right.
The bear been pooping in the woods. Trust me. I got bars. I got records. And sometimes I'm really blessed. I just did a whole album with Havoc from Mobb
I was
Deep.
going to ask about that
That's
as
so
well.
dope.
And our record fire. And Method Man is on it. Blasphemy with Apollo Brown.
Shout out Method Man.
Yeah, shout Meth's on the album too. And that, you know what I'm saying? Gutter, our first single was called Gutter with me, Meth. Have produced it. Sway popping shit on it from Sway and Tech, Sway's Universe, Fame from MOP. Like, we making records.
Right.
I can't force radio. I can't force the algorithm, but we make the content, and there's a lot of greats. And that's not my fault that I wasn't given the same opportunities, and that sometimes it was intentionally done to harm my trajectory. I'm still on this side of the earth, so who knows what happens tomorrow.
Right.
So that's always my thing, is like, hey, if I'm breathing, I'm still striving. And a great man said, I'm gonna quote the homie. A great man said, "Whereas rappers usually don't tear their Achilles," and I was like, bar. What he meant by that is, okay, I'm not a boxer. I'm not getting punched in the face where I get all this wear and tear, or LeBron or Kobe or any player where, oh, my knee, because I've been jumping and putting this kind of strain. All we use is this. So if I can keep this clear, I got a shot.
Exactly. Always.
Well, and there's like a luck component to everything, and that's like the thing that I think I like reckon with my own like creative existence, where it's like I think of a song like "Home Sweet Home," which most people don't know, like the very famous like Styles P "We Gon' Make It" song that Alchemist produced. He had the original version called "Home Sweet Home," which is an incredible song in its own right, but then it got caught up in like the beat got.
My company and me and Al made our piece, so I don't want to overly harp on it. But I performed that record on K Slade, rest in peace, on his mixtape. Yeah. I performed it with what's his name, Buck Wild. They used to have the radio show on Hot 97, Styles and Buck Wild, I think. And then Moni Love. They had a cable show, local cable show in New York. So I'm documented about having that record. But my company, we have vinyl. There's a Priority Records vinyl of Home Sweet Home.
Yeah.
But they fronted on it, and I remember them saying, this before I knew the Alchemist and the Jada stuff was even happening. I remember, I was working on the album, on Home Sweet Home album or whatever. On the Van Gogh album. And I remember one of the execs said, you should put, why don't you, exhibit on this? And I said, you're a groupie. You're a groupie because, you think because he's my friend, I'm going to put him on every single song I got? Yeah. I said, you shouldn't give a shit about him the other times I put him on my albums. So now I'm supposed to put him on every song I got?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was right probably when he got hot with Dre.
Exactly. Now he went platinum. Whatever.
But Draco used to say, you're riding the Kawasaki. Dick riding at his fullest. Draco would say, go ahead and get on the bike and ride the Kawasaki, the Harley Davis, dick riders.
Right.
Shout out to Draco the Ruler.
Shouts out to Draco, R.I.P. Yeah, because they didn't have no vision. Again, it's the reactive thing. It's important now, so now I should care. And I just found that really disheartening. And unfortunately, even the fandom has become that.
Yeah. Completely.
Like our community is so transactionally, if it's not down with so-and-so, then it's not valid. And that's kind of whack. Yeah. It's not kind of whack. It's extremely whack.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Well, and there's like a demise of gatekeepers that like actually you could like trust. Like, because there just isn't. There used to be like, it's like, for instance, you getting a Hip-Hop Quotable in the source, basically being like a nobody at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But somebody had to hear that and be like, actually, this is like a rare talent. We don't care. Like, Battle Cat was obviously a big deal, but like not in the way that Dre was at the time.
Right.
And it's like, they still heard it and were like, this is special. Yeah. The world needs to hear this shit. And they used to do it with so many people, like DMX was, before he got famous, was hip-hop. Like everybody that you ever heard of before they became a thing. And people would get signed. I think DJ Shadow was like,
man.
And
so looking back, and I'm not saying that you may have any regrets or not, but is there anything that you feel like, damn, I could have done that different and I wish I did do it different?
Oh man, there's a 10. But they don't. The point of the matter is they don't make time machines.
Right.
So regret is a pointless emotion.
Right.
I can't live in that because that would kill me.
Are you happy with the outcome of how it
Hell
all
no.
played out?
Fuck no.
Okay.
You kidding me? I want the mansion and the yacht and all the shit these rich weird ass rappers got. I want I don't need all the money. I want you pick a rapper. Here, I'll give you the number. 5 million liquid plus some shit.
Right.
I don't need the 100 million, the billion, all that. I need mine.
Right.
Fuck that. Until I get that, I'm going to keep fighting because I deserve at least that. Mm-hmm. You can look at my peers. I don't give a fuck who you name. And they mostly, unless they trick theirs off, just that. Give me about 5.
Right.
Give me about 5. Couple of endorsements, little TV show. Little Nike, little fucking Liquid Death, whatever sponsorship.
Right.
Give me mine. Let me get mine. Fuck that. Lesser people have gotten way more.
For doing dumb shit.
Right. Some people talented.
Way lesser.
Right.
Way lesser.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm just sitting there for I'm fighting for my 5. Plus, that's liquid, and then the rest, whatever. Cool.
Well, let's talk about the latest thing you dropped, 42.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
Legendary. Obviously named after Jackie Robinson's number.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about the creation of the song, how it came
about.
Oh,
man. So, again, friends and family, homeboys, brothers, peers. I'm a big fan anyway, and we always break bread and kick it and socialize, and I'm starting to, mortality is a motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one day we won't be here.
Yeah,
And that's
the craziest realization.
right.
It goes, I think, from being an abstraction to. I mean, I'm sure when like you lost a fear, it's like
Right.
that's like your
Wow.
brother, and it's sudden.
Yeah, and those things are like, I lost my mother this year.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's part of I call it the inevitable shit sandwich we all have to eat. That's what death is. But it's a shit sandwich that you're affected by the people around you.
Yeah.
Every single day.
So that part is just like, shit. Like, it doesn't have to make me feel good, but it keeps me cognizant about, like, I'm on the other half now.
The
You know what I'm
Buddhists
saying?
actually say, and I was reading like a book about this recently, where it's like, it's important to focus on death every day because that allows you to understand how to like live your life
Right.
properly. Yeah.
And that sounds like a great philosophy. I had a friend of mine, she's a Jewish girl, and theirs was like, I think you don't shave. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain amount of time you mourn, and with the dirt on it.
Yeah, there's like what's called sitting Shiva. I think it's for 7 or 8 days.
Right.
Where you
And I thought that was honorable.
You don't leave
like,
the house.
Right.
Yeah.
However it works for you, many cultures have figured out ways to do it.
Yeah, and the Native Americans actually, one of the, like I spoke to this really wise, actually Buddhist poet a long time ago, and he was saying one of the problems we had in America post-Vietnam was, he's like, if you, like, the soldiers were not properly like reacclimated back into society, whereas the Native Americans, when they would have a soldier that would come off, they would like do like a series of rituals that would kind of ground you.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the things I think why everyone's going crazy is because we've kind of lost the rituals that like keep us rooted as a society.
Right.
You know, some were bad, some were good, find new ones, but like you need kind of a system to kind of, govern you, or some kind of spiritual code or moral philosophy.
Well, even grounded, they say, like, sometimes you're supposed to take your shoes off and walk in the grass. Like
100%,
that there's electromagnetic shit that's good for our body.
Totally.
Like, take your shoes and socks off and walk.
Totally.
And get which is probably why they term grounded, to get grounded.
Yeah.
But those are my bros. I wanted them to, for one, we've been homies for over 20-something years, and if we don't get one in, it may be too late. So I wanted to just get one in with my bros, for the sake of getting one in. There's certain people that I Young Bleed, rest in peace. Bleed called me, man, like maybe a year or two ago, and I was supposed to do something for him, and I lost track of time, and I got wrapped up in my life. And I remember he popped up in my brain like a month ago, and I should have called him. And then I look up last week or whatever, and he passed. And I'm like, fuck. So now I gotta learn to live with that. With that fuck, he was in my heart. He was on my heart.
Right.
And I at least with Sophia or so and so, like, my last conversation with so and so was like, "Oh, I love you, bro," or what I'm saying, like, "Fuck you, bro," you know what I'm saying, like talking shit. With Bleed, I'm like, damn, I kind of let him down. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hit him. I got wrapped up in my own shit, and now it's too late to tell him that. So I'm hoping not to have too many of those.
I know
that was a reminder for me, and so even 42 is honoring somebody, and then honoring Brooklyn, my bros from Brooklyn, honoring my city. This Dodger shit, it's a metaphor, symbolism for bringing the community together, and they gunned it. Amadeus produced it. iFresh is really, really good friends with Fame from MOP, so iFresh did me a solid and did the hook. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Time is Money Studios, where we recorded it, and that's Time and Money is Static's old studio, but him and Terminology and YSP on it. So we were all in New York together, in Brooklyn together, actually, doing it, and we shot the video at my friend's dope restaurant. James has it's Sweet Science in Williamsburg.
That's cool. And then you have an album coming out next year, right?
Next year, Leopard Eats Face.
How did you
like
come up
that.
with that title?
Oh, well, it's actually a slang for it's like a saying that I picked up from, like, some of the more left-leaning podcasts. where it's what it means is like fuck around and find out type shit. It's more like don't be surprised. Like don't be surprised if you vote for the leopard eats face politician that the leopard actually eats your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you kind of knew what was gonna happen here.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's like, is anyone surprised when Siegfried and Roy got eaten by the tiger?
Right. At
it's like,
some
hey,
point.
It's a tiger.
Par for the course, bro.
It's a tiger.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
So it's basically that. And so, and I was trying to actually make a different album. And then what I realized is that I was a little upset. Like, so Leopard Eats Face, I didn't want it to be, it's not a really political album at all. I allude to some of that, but really it's just Leopard Eats Face on some MC shit, on some street shit. So I kind of streamlined it and did the lowest common denominator, not even in politics, more so than just like on this mic in this hip hop community. So you're the face, rapper, whoever the fuck you are, music industry, you're the face, I'm a leopard.
Yeah, I like that. And then we asked this question, and I feel like the entire episode has sort of been a version of this, but it's called Unpopular Truth, like, which is, of course, like a truth that you know in your heart to be true, but everybody else thinks is like, they think something completely different, but this is your personal truth. Like, what is your unpopular truth?
What is my unpopular truth that people believe? Fuck it, let's be controversial. That your top 10 rappers are really the top 10.
What is your top 10 rappers? Excluding your...
I don't have top.
You
I don't have a top 10. I don't have a top 10. There's in any given day and project, it could shift. But I believe in the incredible 200.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. I think like it was interesting. The website Pitchfork did a top 100 list, and I was like, it's almost impossible because 200 is like seems like more because there's too much stuff gets left off. And like Young Bleed, right? Like you mentioned, like My Balls and My Word is one of the best Southern rap albums ever made, but people don't necessarily know that. And, you know, it's there's a rapper.
And I'm always, you know, when I start naming, then I'm gonna start forgetting people.
Of course.
And that's always, you know, like. It's unfair to them. So it's like, no, and I wouldn't put mine in an order, but I'd have to go through and really like, come on, man, you know. And then what do you do with the locks? I mean, all three is nasty. Yeah. So, you know, is that just one or is those three?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
You know, so it's a lot of talent. And you know, I think what we do is we tend to, actually wrote this down earlier, unsung heroes. Mm-hmm. You know, we're really good at championing the most obvious fucking thing. Yeah. Everybody's jumping around, coon dancing and bucking and shucking and jiving for whoever, right? For that one guy, all of a sudden the guy, right? Meanwhile, it's like 7,000, you know, another 199 just as good or better that won't get that opportunity. You know, it's the Elvis thing, man. You know, so really, so he's the best. Even though he stole from Chuck Berry and Mom's Mabley and Whoopty Wham, and then the niggas wrote the songs, like, what the fuck are we doing here?
We need names.
Right. I'm just saying I don't have. You ain't got time for the 200. But that my unpopular truth is that don't believe the hype. Believe the bars.
Absolutely.
How about that?
And then how would you like to be remembered?
I just put in a rap. So I'll just say the rap. When I die, bury me in the pyramid off the 105 so you could see it next to LAX when you drive by. Big LED screens that light up the sky and my mind converted to AI so my great-grandkids could talk to Baba on Wi-Fi and ask why Ras slicker than KY. I got sleep apnea while you sleeping on me. I got a chip on my shoulder and a fucking bad knee.
Okay.
Right. Thank you for coming through, man.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Queen.
Truth hurts.
Thank you. Truth
David
hurts.
Banner.
Yeah, David Banner tapping in. Come on the
you,
show.
Gold Diggers. Oh,
I didn't forget that song you made when I was a kid. Truth hurts.
I'm told you're supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe because I don't know. That's what one does these days. So that's
me?
Our producer said that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Will said that.
You guys follow Gold Diggers Instagram, follow the Truth Hurts podcast Instagram, follow all the links in our bio, and y'all already know we gonna bring y'all the hottest shit all the time. The truth really does hurt. Shout out to Gold Diggers, and I'm just always gonna be on here looking
Waterproof
good.
MC. Follow him. Check out the new single. Check out the new album when it comes out, and the whole back catalog is impeccable.
You can shout your socials out too.
Oh, just at RAS_KASS. Gracias. And thank you guys for having me.